Let's do a little bit of grammar in exercise number 3 here. So let's talk about the past simple. All right. So now we want to go back to the article, but this time we don't want to talk about Harland, Sanders, or KFC. We want to talk about regular verbs, irregular verbs, the past of verb to be, and the past of can. All right, so let's start with regular verbs. Let's look for the past simple of regular verbs in the article. Can you find them? I want regular verbs now. Only regular
Learned.
verbs. Correct?
In the article.
In the article.
Okay.
One of them is learned.
Learned. Stayed.
And stayed, right?
Went.
Yes.
Left.
Left and stayed are these
Left irregular.
irregular. What about
Worked. Worked.
Needed.
worked? Where's worked?
Started.
Only the bold ones.
Only in bold.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
Only
forgot.
bold, yes.
You missed a one.
Only
needed.
in bold.
Yes,
Bold.
learned stayed.
So we have stayed, we have learned.
Learned stayed.
Also negatives of regular verbs.
Didn't open.
Correct, didn't open. Because open is a regular verb, right? Didn't open. Okay, that's it. Okay, next question. So for regular, we had stayed and learned and didn't open, right? Now, what about regular verbs? Let's look for the regular verbs. Irregular, irregular.
Left.
Left, correct.
Well, wasn't.
But
Didn't
wasn't
have.
its verb to be?
Didn't have.
Correct. Didn't have,
Went.
went, and left. Where's went? Went, correct.
And could and where. Where.
These are not irregular verbs. Were, datable verb to be, and could, datable past of can. So this means we only have didn't have, went, and left. So let's write them. Didn't, left, and we have went, and the third one didn't have, right? Okay, now let's find verb to be, the past of verb to be. Let's look for the past of verb to be.
Wasn't.
Wasn't, was, wasn't, correct?
Was.
Was, wasn't. What else?
Were.
Where's where? We don't have where.
Didn't have here.
Yeah.
Just was.
Yeah, just was and wasn't. We only have was and wasn't. We have بالنسبة لverb to be, we have was and wasn't. Was and wasn't. All right. Now let's look for the past of can. Where's the past of can?
Could and couldn't.
We have couldn't. Like, do we have could?
Yes.
Where's could?
After couldn't.
Correct. You're right.
He could.
Second paragraph.
Yeah, he could serve and Harland couldn't serve, right? So we have could and couldn't. That's also correct. Yeah, let's write it here. Could and couldn't. All right. So now we found all the verbs. The regular verbs, stayed, learned, didn't open. Irregular verbs, left, went, didn't have. And we also have the past of verb to be, was, wasn't. And we have the past of can, could, couldn't, right? So now we found all the verbs. We can do part B. Let's check part B. It says, look again at the verbs in bold in the article. How do we make the past simple positive of regular verbs? And is there a rule for irregular verbs? Okay, how do we change a verb from present to past? If it's regular, what do we do for regular verbs? Do we do?
ED.
Yeah.
ED. Add ED.
We add ed, right? Just ed. But sometimes we also add D, right?
I-E-D.
Just D. Yeah.
D. Yes.
Correct. IED, like study. Study,
If it's-
studied. IED, right?
If the word ends with Y.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes we add ed, sometimes we add ied. But which
Or-
words do we add d? Only d.
End with E.
Yes, correct. In words which end with e, we just add d, right? Okay, so very good. So in general, we add d or ed or ied. This is for regular verbs, right? But what about irregular verbs? Do we have a rule for irregular verbs?
No.
No.
Correct. There's no rule. Leave, left, go, went, have, had. So there's no rule. For irregular verbs, there is no rule. You just have to remember them. You have to practice them, get used to them. But there's nothing you can do because there's no rule. You can also put them in groups. This makes it easier to remember. So you can put the shall, should, can, could, will, would. This is together. And you can put catch, caught, buy, bought, bring, brought, teach, taught, seek, sought. You can put them together, right? Do you get the idea? So
Some verb is
Cheers.
double the end.
I think doubling the end usually with ing. Swim, swimming, box, not boxing.
No, I think like stop.
Stop, stopped, correct. Some of them we double the end, correct, yeah. Now, second question. How do we make the past simple negative? What do we
Did
add?
not.
Add
Not.
wasn't or didn't.
Didn't. We just add didn't, right?
Didn't.
For example, open, didn't open.
And the
Didn't.
verb in the infinitive.
And the verb, of course, you have to leave the verb in infinitive. So open, didn't open. Have, what's the negative? What's the negative of have?
Didn't have.
Hadn't.
Didn't have.
Didn't have. Didn't
Yes.
have. What about go? What's the negative?
Went.
Didn't go.
No, didn't go. Went اللي هي في البوزيتيف. خشتها بعضها. Okay.
Didn't have.
So we have past simple negative. Okay, went.
Didn't go.
Correct. صح. Learn.
Didn't learn.
Didn't
good.
learn.
Yeah. Study.
Didn't start.
Didn't study.
Study.
Bought.
Didn't buy.
Didn't buy.
Very nice. Very good. Leave.
Didn't leave.
Didn't leave.
Left.
Didn't leave.
Okay. So the past simple negative is kind of easy. We just put didn't with the infinitive. That's all. All right. But here, the second part of the question is interesting because now we want to know the past simple of verb to be. What's the past simple of verb to be?
Was where.
Was
Was
Correct.
where.
And the negative past simple?
Wasn't. Weren't.
Weren't.
That's it. What about can? What's the past simple of can?
Could.
Can't. Yes.
Couldn't.
The energy today is low.
The past is could. This is in the positive. And in the negative?
Sometimes.
What about the negative?
Couldn't.
Couldn't.
Yeah, couldn't. All right. There is an irregular verb list. You can check it. You can take a look at the common verbs. Maybe practice them a little bit. Okay. All right. Now, in part C, how do we usually make past simple questions? All right. So who can give me a question using the past simple? Any question you want.
Did you start
did.
the lesson? Did you start?
Okay, this is an okay question. Did you
Did you
start the lesson? What kind of question is this? It's correct, by the way. But what kind of question?
Yes or no.
Exactly. It's a yes/no question. Because what's the answer to this question? How do we answer it?
Yes, I did or no, I didn't.
That's it. Because we only have two answers. Yeah, Emma. Yes, I did.
Yes, I did.
Yes,
No, I did.
I did. Or no, I didn't, right?
Yes.
All right. Can you give me a question, another past simple question? But this time, I don't want a yes/no question. I want a WH question.
Or when did you start?
Or when.
Where did you leave 2 years ago? Yes, where did you leave 2 years ago?
Is it leave? Where did you leave? Or where did you live?
Where did you live?
Leave
Just
or live?
Where did you live?
Live or leave?
Leave, yes. Live, yeah, live.
Okay, correct. Where did you leave to?
يعني يعيش. Where did you live?
Good question. Where did you
Where
live
did you live?
2 years ago? Very nice. How can we answer this question? نشوفوا حد تاني يجاوب.
I lived in
Oh, good.
I lived in Sabah.
That's it. I lived in Sabha. Right? That's it.
Yes.
This is an example of السؤال الأول هو yes no question. Correct. And this is a WH question. And this is an answer, positive answer. Correct. And these are short answers with yes, short answer with no. Okay, so we did number one. So we made the question. So if we want to make a WH question, what do we use? So let's write the first question. Where? And then we have did. And the subject is you. And the infinitive is live. So let's analyze the question 2 years ago. So what do we call where? What's this?
Question word.
Correct.
WH.
Correct. Question word. WH question word. Correct. All right. So the first thing we have the WH question. Okay. After that, what's this? We have
Auxiliary.
yeah the auxiliary did.
Auxiliary.
Because this is past simple, so it means we only have one auxiliary. What's the auxiliary we use in past simple? Did, right? After did, what do we use? The subject. Yeah, the subject pronoun. Okay, after the subject we use
Verb.
verb. والverb دائما يكون في أما صيغة.
And present.
Main verb.
Infinitive. طبعا هذا المين verb
Infinitive.
بالضبط. Now, what about verb to be? Excuse me. Verb to be in the. Who can give me a question? Verb to be in the past. Was and where. Let's start with a yes/no question. Can you give me a yes/no question with verb to be in the past?
Okay.
Mhm.
Where was you born?
When? صح?
When was you born?
Okay. You born. Can you change was?
Was.
Can you change it with something else?
Where?
Very good. Where is correct. But why is it correct? Why?
Was single. Was ما تمشيش مع اليوم.
بالضبط. صح. When do we use was? مع من? How do we use was?
مع الI والشي والهي.
Excellent. Will it? Correct. صح.
Yeah.
All right. How do you answer this question?
I was born
Correct. I was born in 1965. You can use any year, but you have to say I was born. Of course, in the question we say when were you born? Okay. Who can give me another WH question? سؤال تاني WH question. Was or where?
Can I ask the question?
Yes.
Where were he yesterday?
Where were he yesterday?
Where was?
Very good.
Where was he yesterday?
Excellent. And how do you answer this question? How do you answer it?
I was in house.
But the question is not about you. It's about him.
Yes. He was in the house.
That's it. He was at home. He was at home.
Oh, no.
Very good. Okay. Who can give me a yes/no question using verb to be?
Okay. Was you eat a burger?
Okay. Were you? تمام. لكن شو بيجي بعدها؟
Were you?
Is it correct?
Yeah,
Correct or not correct? This one.
Correct.
Why?
correct.
What's the
Because
problem?
was
Was
where
verb to be.
Travel
It's a verb.
صح.
day.
Yes. ال was and were مستحيل يتلاقوا مع الأفعال الثانية, right? It's like
Yes.
so here travel, this is Real Madrid, and where, this is Barcelona. مش حتلقوهم في نفس المكان. Never, okay?
We can say, were
Were
you
you
at home
travelers?
yesterday? Were you?
Travel.
Were you at home yesterday?
تمام. We can say at home. Were you at home yesterday?
Yesterday.
يعني نقدر نستعمله noun home, or we can say we can use an adjective. Were you? Can you give me an adjective?
Happy.
He's
Uh-huh.
happy.
Yeah. Were you happy
Were you happy
last week?
last week?
You can use an adjective, that's okay, or you can use ing. هي بيصبح اللي هو past continuous. بيتغير ما عادش نفس الشيء. Were you traveling last month? مثلا. Right? So traveling, travel ممنوع منعا باتا. Travel لا, because travel is an infinitive. Okay? And how do we answer questions like this? How do we answer them? So we say, yes, I.
Yes, I was.
Good. Yes, I was, or
No, I wasn't.
no, I wasn't. Right? Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Okay?